Hi, Kerry here again, host of Best of Us Investors. I've been asked a number of times, particularly over on my retirement channel. I have another channel called Best of Us in Retirement. Should you invest in and basically not be involved in it until I retire? So I basically said, well, if someone was 55 years of age, what would I suggest they invest in? And I knew exactly what I would say. It would be my big six, and that's where I have 50% of my portfolio invested, and we'll leave it there probably until the day I die. But I said, I know that's where it should be, but I need to substantiate it. I need to go back and give some history and then give some current projections as to why I believe these are the six stocks you should invest in if you're 55 years old, and then find a way to dollar cost average into it, and you'll have enough to retire on. So that's what this video is about, to give you some perspective, and particularly right now, because the market has got it wrong. They're focusing on inflation. They're focusing on interest rates. And this is all temporary numbers and movements, because this is all driven by the coronavirus. And we have a shortage of goods. We have the interest rates going up to hold back inflation because of the shortage of goods. And that's going to only be temporary. So there's a rotation away from the tech stocks, the stocks that are going to take us into the future. And so this is an opportunity. Right here today, Monday, the VIX is up something like 20%. And so there's blood in the streets, and I suspect there's going to be blood in the streets for the rest of this week, and possibly for the rest of the year. And this presents a buying opportunity, and I want to drive that home to you in this video. But this is not financial advice. Don't get this wrong. This is education. I'll be right back.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, what I decided to do was I've been doing some work in the past couple months about what exactly is the path that my big six, Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, and NVIDIA, followed to achieve the results that they have, and what kind of returns did they get on a year-to-year basis, and really why I went after it was, how can that give me some comfort in the biotech stocks that I own now? How can I look back and say, okay, this is normal? And so as I did that, it really woke me up that there were times when Amazon lost 80% of its value. When all of them, Microsoft lost 50%. And that's as the market rotates away from them based on fears, short-term fears that go away. As, again, I say, interest rates, inflation, shortage of goods, a broken supply chain, that will all be fixed. And the beauty of it is, it gives us opportunities to buy in. So I did this spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, and I want you to see it, so take a look at it. Okay, this is what I wanted to share with you. I've put together a spreadsheet on the six stocks that I think are the best investments for a conservative investor. I am something of a moonshot investor, but 50% of my portfolio sits in these six stocks: Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, which is currently called Meta, and NVIDIA. With that in mind, I said, if someone had $50,000, and it's actually $50,837, what would I recommend them to buy over the next 10 years so that they would have a comfortable retirement? And then I assumed that they could do some dollar cost averaging. So what I've shown you here is each of the 6 stocks, their market cap, their current price. This was as of Friday. And then I was shooting for a $50,000 investment. So I put in this number of shares for each one. That then gave that portfolio this value with a sum total of $50,837. Then what I did was go back and do some research and say, okay, if we're going to do it for 10 years, what was their return over the last 10 years? And you see it here. Amazon 39.2, 34, 39, or 29, 24, 24, and NVIDIA 71. That throws it a little bit high, but I believe, quite honestly, NVIDIA will probably achieve that over the next 10 years. And that's because they are so involved in everything that is going to happen over the next 10 years that's going to change you and I's life. That is in artificial intelligence within their semiconductors, which is going to put them right in the middle of the metaverse. And then on each of these stocks, I've highlighted where I think their strengths are and what they're going to be involved in the next 30 years. And then I came down here and said, okay, in the next 30 years, what do I think the big changes in the world is going to be? Well, certainly it's electric vehicles. We see that happening very rapidly. And yet I don't have Tesla up there. I'll address that later. The metaverse, I think, is going to change the world, much as the internet has over the last 10 to 20 years. And then I think the big change is going to be in healthcare. Now, I do have another 25% of my portfolio invested specifically in genome sequencing, genome therapy, protein sequencing, and telemedical. But that's not where, that's my moonshots. This portfolio is designed for a conservative investor who doesn't want to do a lot of research, just wants to put in $50,000 and then dollar cost average $500 a month over the next 10 years and then have a portfolio to retire on. Do I think that these companies will achieve, and what I did was take their 10-year average return and then averaged them to come up with a number of 37.29% and then projected they achieve that same level of return over the next 10 years. And I'm quite confident, actually, that they will, because, again, they are involved in each of these areas of growth. Will they be the number one growers? No, I don't think so. But again, those are moonshots. There's a lot more risk associated with that. And I'm not suggesting that to most people. So I'm saying if you're 55 years old, plug your age in there any way you want. You buy these 6 stocks and invest in the dip today. That is January the 10th, 2020. And then dollar cost average $500 a month for the next 10 years, and I project you'll have $1,850,000 in your account. And that should be enough to retire on. So that's my take on it. I've been doing a lot of videos that I believe the market has got it wrong right now, that they are focused on interest rates, the coronavirus, inflation, valuations, and they are not looking into the future and realizing that our world is going to change more in the next 10 years than it has in the preceding 100 years. And I mean that. Taking in that we discovered aviation, we discovered communication, we discovered the internet, social media marketing, e-commerce was all discovered Even the train was discovered in the preceding 10 or the preceding 100 years. What's going to happen in the next 10 is going to make that look like slow motion. Because, and again, I want to emphasize big data. The data revolution, which is going to be accelerated by artificial intelligence, and then the introduction of the metaverse, and then you throw into it the fact that our economy has been brought to the ground by this healthcare situation and the coronavirus. We're going to see so much change that, and these companies have all the knowledge, all the talent, and all the money to participate in it. So that's my portfolio for a 55-year-old. You plug your age in there, and you come up with your own results. Am I comfortable with a 37.29 average rate of return on these stocks? You bet I am. And that might be conservative. Okay. I hope that clarifies, and I hope that brings some comfort to some of you who are saying, what's going on? I did a video that just came out last Monday about how I saw something that Kathy Wood said and did a tremendous job of. She's a lot smarter than I am, and she explained in the numbers how the market is going in the wrong direction, again, as I said, because of interest rates, inflation, employment figures, all temporary issues that has created a rotation away from tech stocks, the stocks that are going to take you into the future. I encourage you to read this book. The future is faster than you think. And there's a number of books that I talk about, but this will give you a real overview of what the future is going to look like. It was published too soon to speak of the metaverse, but if you'll put that into perspective as well, what the metaverse is going to do, what the healthcare situation is going to be in the future, and how we're going to move away from healthcare and towards health cure, and how these 6 stocks, Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, and NVIDIA, have the talent, have the money, and have the knowledge. I mean, if you'll dig into Google and find out everything they're into, find a company they own by the name of Deep Learning, who are leading the way in artificial intelligence. Dig into Facebook and find out about Oculus and the goggles and the glasses that they're going to make to take us into the metaverse. Dig deep into NVIDIA and find out how through gaming they have created the artificial intelligence that's going to go into every chip that's used by every company that holds all the data, and that's Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, and then look into how telecommunications are going to change. I mean, 5 years ago, I didn't know what a Zoom call is. That is going to change the world. You hopefully saw the 60-minute piece this past Sunday about how employment is going to change, how it was 3 years ago, I think the lady said from LinkedIn that 4% of work was done virtual, and it's now up close to 60%. This is the world that is changing. So don't get hung up on short-term mistakes that the market is making. Okay, I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you some insight. And most of all, I hope it gives you some courage to withstand the nonsense that's going on right now. Do not believe these people know what they're doing. If you need some reinforcement that they don't know what they're doing, Just remember the dot-com bubble. Just remember the subprime crisis. I lived through them both. And if I didn't live through the Depression, but they screwed that one up too. So this is your opportunity. This is a dip. This is a rotation away. You rotate in. There's blood in the streets. Go buy some stock and then start dollar cost averaging into those stocks. Don't worry about it. Just come every once in a while and watch the videos that I put out, and I'll keep you up to speed. We're going to change this channel into something that you need to be a part of, and that it can be done by going to bestofusinvestors.com. Give me your name and your address, and I'll take you down this road to give you a good financial life, because the world is changing faster than you think. Talk to you again tomorrow.